Hello and welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Air Museum. We're located on the north ramp of the Reading Airport in Reading, Pennsylvania. And we have a pretty amazing collection of aircraft. We have over 120 airframes, both military and civilian. You are currently in the hangar where we have most of our airworthy aircraft. But outside we have a whole collection of other aircraft that are also both military and civilian. We're now standing in front of an aircraft called a ZLIN, Z-L-I-N. This is a Czechoslovakian-made aircraft that was built to be used in aerobatic competitions. This particular aircraft was recently acquired by the museum. It was manufactured in 1969, so it's not particularly old, but it is rather unique. Okay, this aircraft could be used as an aerobatic trainer. The student probably is in the front seat, the instructor would be in the back seat, and you could go out and do your aerobatic training in complete safety. I'm now standing in front of the first aircraft ever acquired by the Mid-Atlantic Air Museum. This is a Navy version of the C-47. It's called an R-4D. We purchased this airplane in 1980. We completely restored it, and it went to Oshkosh in 1981 and was a grand champion at that event. This aircraft has a pretty storied history. The design goes back to 1932 with Donald Douglas. Prior to World War II, these were flown by the airlines. During the war, they were all taken over by the military and used to transport troops, supplies, and whatever. And there are still many of these airplanes flying around today. We're now standing in front of another unusual aircraft. This is one of two known to exist as far as we can tell. And many people would say it's an F-84, and I'd say you're almost right, it's a P-84. And the difference is, during World War II, they were called pursuit planes. Now they're called fighter planes. And the difference is, in 1947, the Air Force became its own arm of the military, and they changed the designation from P to F, so we know this is pre-1947. Another thing that's interesting about this aircraft, unlike many jets, is that the intake for the jet engine is in the nose of the aircraft. I'm now looking at you through the fuselage of a H21 Piai helicopter, which was built right here in Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, Piai doesn't exist anymore. It's now under the auspices of Boeing. This helicopter was first used in the Korean War. It was the first helicopter used in the Vietnam War. And in the early days, they were painted yellow, and because of the shape of this aircraft, they were known as the Flying Banana. Okay, I'm now standing in front of the museum's B25J Mitchell bomber. This is an aircraft that is a tribute aircraft to an aircraft called Briefing Time, which was a real aircraft in World War II. Briefing Time flew 126 missions in the war, and it also sank a ship. This aircraft was originally owned by Tallman's Aviation, which is a company out in California that did a lot of flying for the movies. So this aircraft was in the original movie Catch-22 back in the 1970s. We've been flying this aircraft since about 1979. The museum actually acquired the aircraft in 1980, and we've been flying it ever since. This is a B-25 that's probably the most authentically restored B-25 in the world. It is airworthy, and we do fly it. I'm now coming over to an aircraft called an AT-6 Texan. AT means Advanced Trainer. This would be the final phase of your training to be a pilot in World War II. You've gone through all the basic stuff, the intermediate stuff, and now you've come to this aircraft, which has 600 horsepower, controllable pitch propellers, retractable landing gear, bombs on both wings, 2 machine guns, all of the bells and whistles for radio, navigation, electronics, etc. When they pin your wings on here, now you're a 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old frontline fighter pilot in World War II. And as a side note, if you're interested in flying this airplane, we do sell rides in this one Saturday a month from May to October. Okay, we're now standing in front of our Japanese Val dive bomber. This is an aircraft that is a replica of the actual dive bomber. The basic airframe is a BT-13 built by Vultee. And this aircraft was built by 20th Century Fox to be used in the movie Tora, Tora, Tora that was produced in 1970. 20th Century Fox built 11 of these aircraft for the movie. There are 4 left in existence. This is one of them. And this is acquired by the museum in May of 2023, so this is brand new for us. Now I'm going to walk over here, and you're going to see our restoration project that we've been working on for 30 years. This is our P61 Black Widow. This is an aircraft that was designed specifically as a night fighter. It is a huge airplane. The wingspan is 66 feet. It's 15 feet long, 15 feet tall. It weighs 17 tons. Its top speed is about 370 miles an hour, and it's flown by a 20-year-old at night. So this P61 arrived in New Guinea on January 6th, 1945. On January 10th, 1945, it crashed into the side of Mount Cyclops and sat there for 40 years until we went to recover it. We first learned about the aircraft in 1979 from some people in the Commemorative Air Force who thought they were going to go rescue it and restore it. They decided not to do that. We formed the museum specifically to go recover the aircraft, and we spent from 1985 until 1990 or 1991 multiple trips to New Guinea to bring this aircraft off the mountain. Many pieces were carried on the backs of natives down 7,000 feet. The big portions like the fuselage and the wings and the engines were brought down by helicopter. It arrived here in 1991. It took us 2 years to build the jigs to put it in so we could begin the restoration. We started restoring in 1993. The expectation is that this is one of 4 aircraft remaining in the world, and this is the only one that will ever fly again. So by next summer, our hope is to have the wings finished and on the aircraft, and then it's just engines and propellers, and we'll be able to put this thing in the air. Okay, as we walked around the museum, you've probably noticed many, many display cases. And in those cases are a collection of various models of different aircraft. This is just one example here. And in this particular case, we have a model of an F89 Scorpion. Here, we have the actual instrument panel from an F89 Scorpion. And that aircraft carried 2 nuclear-tipped missiles. And this is the switch to select those nuclear missiles. And the euphemism is special weapon. So we're now in the shop of the Mid-Atlantic Air Museum, and as a member of the museum, you can come in here anytime you want. This is not something that visitors get to see. I'm standing in front of one of the outer sections of the wings for the P61. And as you can see, this is a good 20 feet or so long, and it's sitting on this orange device, which is essentially like a barbecue spit. At some point, when we've got all the parts made that we need, we're going to mount this on a barbecue spit so that we'll be able to literally spin the wing around as we're inserting the internal components and putting the outer skins on. As I come over this way, you'll see these large green bars, or what look like green bars. These are in fact the wing spars that hold that wing together on the airplane. And there's a whole series of them both in the front of the wing and the rear of the wing. And these are the only component of the aircraft that we could not make internally. We had to send these out and have them made. Okay, I'd like to thank you for joining me on this tour of the Mid-Atlantic Air Museum. If you're interested in becoming a member, it's very inexpensive, allows you access to the museum for free anytime it's open. You can volunteer your time. We need volunteers in a variety of areas. And if you want to get more information on the museum, you can go to our website, www.maam.org. Thank you for your time.